I already talked about my top 10 favorite movies of 2019 and my top 10 most hated films of 2019, but now the time has come to take a look at the upcoming year. I'm gonna talk about my top 11 most anticipated films of 2020, and yes, even though it's a top 11 list, they are in no chronological order. It's not like number 1 is the film I'm looking forward to the most, or number 2 is the one that's my second most anticipated film. I just randomly filled out this list. And yes, there will be other movies this year that will completely catch me off guard, that I don't know anything about yet, and they will probably end up on my top 10 favorite movie list of 2020. And also, some of these movies may turn out to be nothing but bags of shit. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. For now, these are the ones that I chose. And kicking off my list is The Organ Donor, also known as Saw 9. Yes, we will get another Saw movie, and I have a soft spot for this particular franchise. This year, I watched them all back to back. There were some great ones, there were some terrible ones, but overall, I just like this franchise. And now that the movie is being directed, I heard it's going to be directed by Chris Rock, starring him and Samuel L. Jackson. That sounds very interesting. And it's supposed to be a continuation of the regular series, but also a spin-off. I don't even know if Tobin Bell is going to be in it. I want him to be in it because without him, it's not going to be a Saw film. But I am interested to see how this movie is going to turn out. If I'm going to like it, if I'm going to hate it. Both options are very possible. So yeah, Organ Donor is my number 11. Next up, number 10 is Kong vs. Godzilla. And yeah, I know, I put Godzilla, King of the Monsters, on my top 10 most hated list, but how can I not be excited for the ultimate clash between the two most iconic movie monsters ever created? Like, I know the original Kong vs. Godzilla, it's horrible, it doesn't hold up. Well, it was never good to begin with, but now with the technology that we have, and if they really decide to focus on the creatures, we could have an extremely enjoyable blockbuster. I'm looking forward to Kong vs. Godzilla. Please don't let me down. Coming in at number 9 is A Quiet Place Part 2. Again, I'm very iffy about this one, but the first one blew me away. It was a great concept, a horror film where noises could get you killed. Like, I personally would die in that world, as I said in my review, but I thought this movie was completely engaging, exciting, and John Krasinski directed the hell out of this film. I'm glad that he's back directing. I'm glad that Emily Blunt is back starring in the film. So all the right ingredients are there. I just hope that this won't be another cash grab, but that they actually do something new with the sequel. Coming in at number 8, we got Top Gun Maverick. Okay, it's like this. Every single time Tom Cruise stars in a new action film, I'm down, because that dude, I think he's still 20 years old. I don't know how he does it. The stunt work he pulls off with every single one of his films, especially the Mission Impossible films, is just incredible. The original Top Gun is cheesy as hell, but again, I have a soft spot in my heart for it. It looks like the action is gonna be spectacular again, and this is what I'm looking forward to. Also, it seems like this movie is gonna honor the first one, something that we don't see that very often these days, and I want sequels. I mean, if they're gonna turn everything into a franchise, they have to honor what came before. And I think Top Gun Maverick is gonna do exactly that. Coming in at number 7 is the first MCU film post-Endgame that I care about, Black Widow. Is it a little late? Yes, it is very late, because, I mean, spoiler alert for Endgame, but judging by the box office success, you've probably seen it, Black Widow is dead. And now she gets her own movie that's going to take place in between Infinity War and Endgame. And I am looking forward to it, because Scarlett Johansson was always great at this, at playing this character. And she deserved her own film, and she should have been the first female superhero within the MCU to receive her very own standalone Marvel film, not Captain Marvel. But in a way, I'm sad that her movie comes out after her death. I mean, there are a lot of theories going around, like, are they going to revive her, which would kind of diminish her sacrifice in Endgame? Or is this movie's job to set up a new Black Widow? I don't know. But if this is to be Scarlett Johansson's last outing as this character, I'm down. Coming in at number 6 is a movie that when they announced it, I had a huge smile on my face. Bill and Ted Face the Music. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you are familiar with Bill and Ted. Seriously, I love these two movies. They were so insane, so funny, and Keanu Reeves and the other dude, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Like, they're Bill and Ted, so I don't remember his name. They had an amazing chemistry. I loved these films so much growing up, and I hope that they're gonna honor what came before. But this seems like a passion project. Like, they've been talking about this for years, and now I hope it's gonna pay off, because they still have to write the song that will eventually save the world. Coming in at number 5 is a very interesting movie. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Look, the original 1984 Ghostbusters is a classic among classics. It might just be one of the greatest comedies ever made, because it was a lightning in a bottle. Like, it was a happy accident. Everyone involved had a different vision, and it turned out to be a masterpiece. And every single time they tried to recreate the magic of the original, they failed horribly. Like, even the sequel to the original wasn't that great. It's a guilty pleasure for me. The only thing other than the original movie that I love was the cartoon show from the 90s. I mean, the 2016 film was a horrible bag of shit. And now enter Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's gonna be directed by none other than Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son, the dude who directed the first one. So I do believe that he feels the pressure on his shoulders, that he really wants to do them justice. He wants to do the Ghostbusters justice. And the trailer so far looks fantastic. It really seems like they're moving away from the shitty slapstick humor of the 2016 remake, and that they're focusing on dry humor and real mysterious and horrific effects, which made the original so great. The mix between dry comedy and horrific imagery. Like, this is what made the original so great. And the fact that this time around we're dealing with kids, and we're dealing with a little village and not the Big Apple, not New York City, is a different approach. I like that. And I heard that most of the original cast members are gonna be in this film. This seems to be a movie that does everything in its power to honor the original. I respect it for that, and I'm really looking forward to it. I want this to be a good movie, because I haven't had a good Ghostbuster movie since 1984. Coming in at number 4 is Underwater. Once again, this is a movie that could go both ways. It could be a generic piece of shit horror film, or it could be Alien underwater, because this movie looks so engaging, so exciting. Kristen Stewart, I mean, if she's not doing Twilight or Charlie's Angels, she's a fantastic actress. Vincent Cassel is in the film as well, and yeah, I had to pronounce his name with a French accent. I mean, seriously, you just have to do it. The direction looks engaging. I love the mysterious vibe surrounding this film, because the trailer doesn't give away too much, and I'm excited. I just like a good creature feature horror movie, and if this movie delivers, I will be very happy. Coming in at number 3 is Tenet. Yes, Christopher Nolan is back with another mind-bending original film, and I love him for it. Every single time Christopher Nolan releases a new film, you know that shit's a party, because he always does something original. He always creates his own lore, his own mythology, and his own engaging ideas. And I saw the trailer. I still don't know what this movie's about, which I'm okay with. I like the intrigue. I like the mystery of it all. It's similar to Inception. I didn't know what to expect, and this movie blew me away. I think Christopher Nolan is a safe bet, and I'm really looking forward to it. The fact alone that this is not a remake, a reboot, a sequel, a prequel, the fact that it's an original story makes me look forward to it. Coming in at number 2 is Wonder Woman 1984. Because, I mean, let's face the facts. The DCEU had some rough years. It started out pretty promising with Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman happened. I actually like this movie. Like, I think it gets better with time. When it first came out, I had mixed feelings towards it. But now looking back at it, I really feel like Zack Snyder had a very unique vision. And this movie actually aged pretty well. Do I still have some issues with it? Yes. The whole doomsday thing, the fact that they put so many different storylines into one film. But during its good moments, this film was actually pretty great. In particular, the imagery, Batman himself, Wonder Woman, the fight between Batman and Superman. This movie had some amazing moments. And then Suicide Squad happened, and the Justice League killed the DCEU. And now we're at a phase where they're trying out something completely new, because Wonder Woman was the first standalone DCEU film that completely worked. It worked for most fans, it worked for most critics, and I was one of the people that loved it. Patty Jenkins directed the shit out of this film. And she completely understood the character of Wonder Woman, of Diana, because Diana is just a good person that wants to do the right thing. Like old school superhero, like old school Superman stuff. And I love that approach so much. It was funny, it was heartfelt, it was action-packed. It did not try to copy off Marvel. It was its very own thing, and I loved that approach so much. Enter Wonder Woman 1984. The trailer looks spectacular. They're going for the 80s vibes, as a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows are currently doing. But you know what? It worked for me in the trailer. I'm glad they're bringing Steve Trevor back. But you know what? I think it's going to end badly for him again. I think this is going to be surprisingly tragic. But how can I not be excited? The entire crew of the first film, in front of the camera and behind the camera, is back. And I hope they're going to deliver. I really hope they're going to deliver. But I'm very positive about this film. And number one is Dune. I mean, come on. Denis Villeneuve alone is worth checking this one out. Every single time that man directs a new movie, every single time that man releases a new film, it's a party. I loved every single one of his films. Prisoners, Arrival, Sicario. All of these films are just so engaging, so thought-provoking, so beautiful to look at, and sometimes extremely thrilling. And him taking on the beloved novels of Dune, this is a match made in heaven. And he compared it to Star Wars, but for adults. That, in and of itself, sounds awesome. In particular, since we have a totally divided Star Wars fan base right now, maybe this film will come along and set up a trilogy that will finally unite fans. And I'm very positive about this project. And that concludes my top 11 most anticipated films of 2020. So now, which movie are you looking forward to the most? Let me know in the comment section below. And thank you guys, as always, for watching. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, then just subscribe.